In this video, we're going to see how to interact with layers. Layers will help develop your project in different ways. Layers are a way to organize or to see how the content that you create is organized in Illustrator. So first thing we're going to do is look at the layers panel. So we're going to see where layers are. We're going to see how to make them visible, how to lock them, how to change the color, and how to rename. I'll show you how to move the panel, how to move content within the layers, and shortcuts to move or manipulate where your items, your graphics are in your layers. So layers are a good way to have an understanding, again, of how things are compiled in Illustrator in your document, and also it'll allow you to organize it in a way to hide or reveal or show certain things that you need to move around. So the way layers work, first, again, we're going to look at the panel. Panel should be visible on the right where it says properties and layers here. This is in the essentials workspace. If you do not see layers here, you can go up to Window and then Layers, and then that should reveal your layers panel. A quick preference that I have is I'd rather not toggle between the two all the time, between properties and layers. So my suggestion to you is just to move layers down a little bit. So I'm going to click and drag, move it all the way to the bottom, and then this way, if I move this a little bit, I can see both properties and layers at the same time. So that's a quick preference. You can move these panels around wherever you want, and that's what I prefer. You do what works for you. Secondly, what we'll do is I'll just create a shape really quick, or a few shapes. I'll create a square. Let's make that square nice and bright so we can see it. I'll make an ellipse second, so we can see that one. Let's do that color. Oops, and then we will make, why not make a polygon here? I'll click once, make a octagon. Put 8 there, and we'll make this one a different color. What should we do? Sure, we'll do yellow. So we have shapes here, just so we can see how how layers interact, or how things interact on a layer. So first off, we have our layers. We can see that it's visible because we can see the eye here. If we click on that, it should hide everything on that layer. So that's what you're seeing there if we toggle that on and off. Secondly, you'll have a lock or an empty area where you can lock. So what that will do is that if I lock that layer, you literally cannot move anything on that layer. Okay, you can toggle that at any point in time just by clicking there. The third thing you see is just a quick color. If you look, you can see that the color here in this strip is blue. So if I click on an object and it has a blue outline, it kind of gives you an indicator of what layer that is on based on that color. The fourth thing you'll see is an arrow that you can click and expand or drop down to preview what is in that layer. Fifth thing is a little thumbnail or a preview of what is on that layer. Sixth is the layer name. So it just says layer 1, but if I wanted to rename this, I could click and type in what I want that layer to be. And then 6 and 7, you can click to target, drag, and move appearance. You're probably not going to change or manipulate that too much. And then you're going to see a little color to the right potentially beyond that area, which will indicate what is selected. So if I click on a shape on that layer, you'll see that there's an indicator saying that, hey, something in this layer is selected. Okay, so that's a quick breakdown. To be more elaborate, if we want to see all these things, you could see that it kind of hides or nestles everything underneath this layer. So the way Illustrator works is it continually compiles things onto whatever layer you have selected. So you could see initially I made this guide here in type, and that is at the bottom. So you can kind of think of layers as you build them. It just continually stacks on top of each other, which you may not be able to visualize yet, but if I take, let's say, the square, the circle, and the octagon, if I put them all in sequence here, let's put the octagon over the circle. The octagon is showing the yellow piece, sorry, is showing on top of the teal circle because it's the most recently made. So what it does is it stacks it on top, and then you'll see if I move the square, it's behind those two as well. So that's how it kind of interacts, is that as you build, I'll just keep this open and make another shape for you. As this builds, it continually adds to the top of that layer. Oops, step back. Let's go here, here, here. And I can make a rectangle here, and you can see that it just builds it right on top. So if you ask yourself, hey, this thing disappeared, where'd it go? More than likely you probably covered it up with something else in that layer. So that is a quick thing I noticed there. So beyond that, you can move content. So let's say you want this yellow shape over the top. You can look at your layers, click and drag, and you can move things within that layer, right? Which is kind of nice if you need to, right? So if something is covered up or you need to cover something up, that might be a quick way to do that. There are also shortcuts to arrange whatever is in your layers. So let's say you need to move something, you can go to Object, Arrange. I'm on my Mac, so it's going to look a little bit different for those on PC, but there you can go to the menu bar and change it there. A quicker route is just using your shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. So let's say we want, I don't know, this ellipse to the back. We can hit Control Shift left bracket after we select it. Control Shift left bracket, and you can see it bumps it all the way to the bottom. Control Shift right bracket will bring it to the top. If we just hit Control or Command, again on Mac, and then just a bracket, you can see that you can move it within the layer just one step. So those are quick shortcuts on how to move things. Added bonus here, you can also create new layers. So let's say you want to organize by shapes and then you want to make a type layer or something. Down at the bottom of the layers panel you can click and it creates new layers. So you can have a ton of layers. It's set up to be manipulated the way the user wants to use it. So if it makes sense to use more layers, then do it. Yeah. And you can also see as you create more layers, it will change the color indicator of that layer as well. So what I'll do is just kind of show you that you can also manipulate within layers. So let's say I want this type here. If I want that on another layer, I can click and drag and drop it into other layers as well. So now the type is on one layer and the shapes are on another. So yeah, use layers at your leisure. It's a good way to organize. If you want it really organized, you can, really manipulate your layers. If you work a little more free flow, you don't need all that organization, that's totally fine too. It's another tool that is there for you to use and try to make your life a little bit easier there. So yeah, if we look at type and shape now, if I click on the type, it's outlined in red now. You can see red in red, so that's an indicator on what layer it is on and how it's working there. So beyond that, that's a quick breakdown of layers. Hope this helps.